It's time for Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
Here we go.
You be the judge.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Order in the court.
This is Wretched Radio, and it's time. Oh, this is going to be a good one. One of America's fastest-growing game sensations. Which one is tropier? That's right.
Tropier?
Oh, we've played this so many times. We are going to share a number of tropes, and our very own in-house Lutheran, Tony Verkenis, will act as your federal head, representing the tens and tens of people listening to this here Wretched Radio broadcast. Tony, are you ready to play? Which
Most
one
certainly.
is tropier? I don't know where to begin. There are so many of them. It sure does feel like there's a pro-life wind a-blowing, doesn't it? I can't keep up with all of the good news pro-life stories these days. Missouri governor signs bill banning abortions on baby with beating hearts. I heard there's another one being passed or just passed in Illinois. Supreme Court upholds pro-life law requiring proper burial or cremation for babies whose lives were ended in abortion.
Indiana.
Was it Indiana?
Indiana. Because Illinois is trying to make a law that's even wackier than New York's.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
It's not all good pro-life news, but it sure seems like there is a bit of momentum here. I would ask the Supreme Court, do we need proper burials for mole removal now? Because if that's all they really are, why would we need to Nevertheless, grateful for all of the good pro-life activity. Many people are responding, and wow, the tropes are a-flying. Contestant number one, Anne Hathaway. She's a famous actress, Tony. She's very pro-choice, apparently, and was she texting the tropes? Yes. The anti-abortion movement is primarily about controlling women's bodies. No. It's just...
Well, you have to keep it away from what it really is, or it sounds icky.
Controlling women's bodies? I don't even... Yes. I want Glenda in Kansas to be under my authority regarding her... I don't even know what that trope is all about. It's all under the premise of saving lives. No, that's it right there, Anne. It's just about babies. They are whole, innocent human beings, and we don't want them dead. Hold on. She's not done troping. And yes, this law is primarily the work of white men. I don't know when morality adopted a color. It's either right or it's wrong. Skin color has nothing to do with morality. Furthermore, when it comes to issues of morality, what is right, what is wrong, even religion doesn't necessarily play a role in it. Now, I might be motivated by my religion about the life issue, but ultimately, I can remove my religion from the conversation and still talk about the right and wrong of taking a human life. Nevertheless, Anne's tropes keep flying. However, a white woman sponsored the bill and a white woman signed it into law. As we're resisting, let us call out the complicity of the white women who made this awful moment possible, and which, make no mistake, will lead to unnecessary and avoidable deaths of women, a disproportionate number of whom will be poor and or black. Well, the question is, which one came first, actually? Does the legislation somehow cause women who are poor and or black to have an abortion? Besides, and you should be aware, more black babies are aborted in New York City, the center of abortion, than are born. That is an issue that really should be examined. There's lots of people that are willing to debate it. I think that would be a healthy one. Why is it the case that disproportionately more black babies are aborted than white babies? And if she's throwing down some sort of skin color issue on this, why are so many of us who are white concerned that so many black babies are dying? Explain that one, Anne. Hathaway's post captioned a photo of a pro-abortion sign reading, "If you're against abortion, don't have one." Okay.
Oh, that
well,
is the
thanks
height of
for that.
intellectual superiority.
There you go.
Let me once again just swap out one sin for another, and you will see how tropey that comment is. And if you're against rape, then don't commit one. And if you're against murder, don't kill anybody. If you're against arson, don't burn down any houses. If you're opposed to fill in the blank, then don't do it. Anybody with an ounce of sense would say, well, that's a trope. Exactly. It's a trope indeed. She is contestant number 1. Tony, are you taking notes? Number 1, Anne Hathaway.
That's some pretty
Number
fine
2,
troping right there.
The New Yorker. Wow, this article is absolutely loaded with them. How the right to legal abortion changed the arc of all women's lives. From The New Yorker. Legal abortion changed the arc of women's lives. Legal abortion means that the law recognizes a woman as a person. Okay.
Oh, wow, is that backward?
No. Wow. The obvious fact is a person is a person regardless of gender. The law doesn't make somebody a person or not. God's made. Didn't we used to have these types of conversations going on before, say, Jim Crow? We don't decide who's a person. God decides who's a person. Skin color, irrelevant. Gender, irrelevant. It says, writes the New Yorker, that she belongs to herself. Most obviously, it means that a woman has a safe recourse if she becomes pregnant as a result of being raped. Okay, well, there's the exception to the rule. Nevertheless, it needs to be addressed. No matter how the child is conceived, it's still a child. Furthermore, having a safe recourse if she becomes pregnant. Who's the enemy here? The rapist or the baby? I tend to think that the child is the innocent party in this. The woman has been the violated party. The rapist should be the bad guy in this scenario. How's about we punish him? Access, writes the New Yorker, to legal abortion, whether as a backup to birth control or not, meant that women, like men, could have a sexual life without risking their future. Having a baby is a future risk? I thought they were a blessing. I guess I'm confused about what humans are. A woman could plan her life without having to consider that it could be derailed by a single sperm. She could dream bigger dreams. I don't think you can, frankly. I don't think there's a bigger dream than giving a birth to an image bearer of God. I just tend to think that's kind of a biggie. I know the world doesn't seem to think that, and I fear too many moms are not reminded of that. There is nothing grander. There is nothing more beautiful. There is no responsibility that is more noble in its calling than giving birth to an image bearer of God. Whew. I got to tell you something. I would not trade any of my children for a dream. I would not trade one of them. I would rather sacrifice anything than not have them. This is so backwards. The tropes continue. Early marriages are notoriously unstable. So, if you're glad the divorce rate is down, you can thank Roe v. Wade. Oh, wow. 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Wait.
Yeah, what?
Killing babies makes marriage
helps the
stronger.
Divorce rate. Yes. Now you're getting with the trope program.
Wowzers.
It was female lawyers, for example, who brought cases that opened up good blue-collar jobs to women. Without more women obtaining law degrees, would men still be shaping all of our legislation? Again, gender being brought into these conversations, gender does not impact moral issues. Skin color does not impact moral issues. There is either right or there is wrong. Now, of course, from a Christian perspective, we can say that. Somebody who does not believe in a supreme authority has no business talking about right and wrong. But we can. let's conclude, the New Yorker. Without the large numbers of women who have entered the medical professions, would psychiatrists still be telling women that they suffered from envy and were masochistic by nature? Look, I'm not a fan of psychiatry, but to call all of them masochists? Would women still routinely undergo unnecessary hysterectomies? Without increased numbers of women in academia and without the new field of women's studies, would children still be taught that 100 years ago, Woodrow Wilson gave women the right to vote?
He did that.
Good news. Lots of pro-life legislation that is saving the lives of babies. Bad news, we are seeing an absolute barrage of tropes, which means two things. We need to sharpen up our pro-life arguments. And two, Tony needs to be prepared to render a verdict. There's more tropes a-coming next on Wretched Radio.
You know how that social media is. You gotta be plugged in and connected. So would you please like, subscribe, or share this video?